Got it.
Lovely. Thanks everybody again for joining us today. My name is Rima. I'm the founder and CEO of Ardy Marketing, and I am based at Sandbox in Nairobi. I'm the marketing strategist actually at Sandbox, or marketing expert, if you will. And I'm really excited to have you here. Of course, Eunice is going to introduce herself in a bit, but what we do is we do this every month. So Eunice and I actually get together doing this every month. What we do is one, which is a coffee chat like this one, where we have somebody, a special guest coming in to join us. And then the second part is we've got a webinar coming up, and we will tell you about every webinar that we have. But in a nutshell, as Ardy Marketing, what we do is we help organizations with their marketing needs. And depends, of course, what your objective is, where you're at. What would you like to achieve? How do you get to your target audience? Who is your target audience? And both online and offline strategies we're able to do. Of course, social media is one aspect of it. And last a couple of weeks ago, we had a webinar on social media marketing itself. So we're focusing today our questions on the social media marketing, right? Eunice?
Yes, so hi everybody, my name is Eunice Nyandat. I am the CEO of My Biz Marketer, and we do digital marketing and digital advertising for startups and SMEs. And I am super excited to have Alex here with us to chat about this subject of social media marketing, a follow-up on the webinar we had. So welcome everybody, and I would not, let me not miss to say that we do have.
Yeah. Huh? Sorry, carry on, and then I'll do an intro for Alex.
Yes, to say we've got a team here supporting us. Should you have any questions, they're looking in our chats to let us know what your questions are, and any difficulties or any questions other than pertaining to social media marketing that you might have, they're there to respond to those. Take it away, Rima.
Great. So I'd like to introduce Alex. So Alex is a digital strategist and a creative director at company Archer Digital. Again, Archer Digital is based at Sandbox, and there are digital marketing experts at Sandbox. So really excited to actually have him here. He's passionate about working with SMEs to help them leverage digital platforms to grow their businesses. I mean, he's been doing this for a few years now already. I mean, what else can I say about him? Let's see. Practice. Yeah, he's been practicing digital marketing for a very long time. So he's got a wealth of knowledge on how to build brands better online. So that's a bit of an intro into who Alex is. So Alex, welcome. Thank you for being here today.
Thanks, Rima. Thanks, Eunice, for hosting, and thanks for the participants for sparing your time. And thanks for the introduction as well. Really glad to be here and have this chat with you. Love to hear the questions, love to hear the interactions, love to brain dump regarding anything we want to hear about. So maybe I can also do a small intro beyond Rima's intro, just who I am. Alex, I pretty much, as Rima mentioned, in the digital strategy and as a creative director of a SME focused digital agency. And secondarily, away from that, I am a passionate photographer as a hobby. And I'm a traveler, adventurer, and my spirit animal of the week is an owl, because I am both double jointed and I enjoy I like vision. So that's who I am. My preferred drink of choice at any one time is G&T. So that's ginger and tea, for those of you who don't know, or might have had other meanings for it.
Yes.
And, it is. Yeah,
awesome. Awesome. I have a right off the bat question, Alex. How did you get started in this space? And do you have a preferred platform if it's regards to social media? In regards to social media,
Sorry, I realized I probably should have a note and pen closer by so that I could be able to put down your question in case of any. So
Okay.
I started. This was a funny story, or ideally just started as many sometimes things start as a side hustle for while I was in campus, and I realized that there was a humongous gap in when SMEs versus bigger companies would play in a space. So this space was the hostel, when student housing. So this hostel that were bigger always had more material. They'd have a banner, they'd have flashy people with shirts, and they would be selling a crap product, but they would sell it. They would completely sell it. Their hostels were terrible. But they would sell it faster than the guy who had a small, nice boutique. Not even the cost would not be much more expensive, but because he only had like a very boring flyer and he looked like an old man just sitting alone, did not be able to succeed, even sell completely his units, and his units were great. So I was in that hostel, and in the next day, actually after I saw my hostel, and the next day I was like, could we do better? Could we? I don't know. So that's where my passion picked, and I was like, could we just do better, like a better flyer, or better something, or better ABCD? So what the old man decided, I told him, actually have no graphic design skills, but I think this flyer looks bad. Can I match it? And overnight, I quickly just got some templates, edited them a bit, added some photos, actually that I had taken from my phone. And the next day printed them in Galleria, and we were in business together. He said, if I do succeed to get customers, I'd get 1 month of rent free. So I was like, great. And at that time, this is me piquing my interest. And we actually sold out the next 2 days, because it's usually like an open day for 3 days. And the old man was like, dude, that was dope. And I was like, yeah, dude, that was dope. And that's how our relationship started with him. And I stayed in that hostel for a longer time and continued just in the evolution. Same thing, so other businesses in the campus. And really it was at the peak of online channels when they were starting, Facebook. BBM started, and it was pretty big in our campus. So everybody had to Blackberries, and you e-shot people. And when you e-shot people, they would come more than when you just send them a blast SMS, or when you just told them in a flyer, which they would. So I felt like the shift was great, that you'd be able to do that. And Facebook pages were coming up, and they were really doing great for DJs, for club owners. It was a fun little experiment. And when we finished, I thought, hey, maybe this could be a business. And that's how I started Archer. And my team joined in as we continued doing the same. Preferred platform, I feel like I'm an old person, but I prefer Facebook. Because I create, it's just more slow for me. I'm like, I want to see my friends slowly. Slowly, everything, news, everything is just slower there. And like, it's authentic and it's realer. My friends, my family, my mom's there. I like it. And now also as a business platform for our clients, it really does give them the results, because there's a broad spectrum of people in different things. And yeah, I think that's my reason why I like Facebook.
Got it. Good one. And okay, and I get this question a lot. What currently are the big mistakes we as SMEs or startups are making on these platforms right now?
Oh, that's a hot one. Everything is a mistake. I believe.
Pick a couple.
Yeah, okay. The biggest ones, recently we had this hot conversation also in our sandbox group, where they said digital marketing explained. There was a humongous, the way you buy spinach, you buy a humongous bunch. And that's I don't know, awareness or something. I can't remember the exact, but I'll find it and I'll screen share it at one point here. There was a humongous bunch of vegetables like being cooked. There, it starts with awareness, leads, and then conversion. And then conversion is like a single leaf like this. So my response to that was that most people who do digital make the mistake of, and I found a really good analogy from a Reddit post, where they said what people do with digital, and if you don't commit to it to do it well, is you're hopping around from party to party, having drinks with the hopes of picking up a girl. Every party you go, you get more drunk, you embarrass yourself more, and you lose the chance. Your chances of getting a girl become less and less. So it's like a law of diminishing returns. So people come, they try Facebook, they post 1 week, they disappear, they do an ad for 1,000, they say this thing spend my money, they do it for 1 month, 1 week, they do it for 2 weeks, and then they say, no, now LinkedIn is the best, go there, spend 5,000 because you've been given $50 of ad credit. You go and try that kidogo kidogo. So hiyo kuuma kidogo kidogo is, there's no, it's the law of diminishing returns. So you don't succeed because you just try everything without really pointing out what you want to do.
No consistency.
No consistency, no goals, no, you just want to be because somebody else has done it, or you've had another person is on social media and they're getting sales. But what about you on it and give it some kind of consideration to take it seriously? Some of us take it seriously like a profession, a career, you know, take it seriously for your business as well. Do what you can and then do it consistently. If you don't have the bandwidth, there's so many professionals out there. I'm sure people are willing to help. Just commit to it the way you would commit to a sales channel, to HR, to legal. You know, it's a very professional, serious career these days. Yeah.
Yeah, Rima and I maybe sound like broken records because every webinar we do, we stress all the time, know your audience and know where your audience is, right? So if they're on Facebook, be consistently there. If they're on, Twitter, LinkedIn, be there. So don't be drunkenly hopping from platform to platform, because then you're wasting your time and money and effort. And you're so very right, that consistency and not understanding where your audience is. So that if, for example, you are reaching out to older women who most likely are on Facebook and you're over at TikTok, you've missed them, right? They're not there, right? So be consistent. You're very right. Do we have any questions yet?
Well, I can't see any questions yet, but guys, please write your questions, anything you want to know about digital marketing, about social media marketing, just jump at it with your questions. Either raise your hand, or you can just write it on the chat. Just keep the questions coming, because this is what we're here for the next, an hour and a half, right? So one of the things I was thinking about in terms of, like, I know commitment is really important. Here's the other thing, consistency, and the consistency, of course, is important. Commitment is important. But one of the myths that we have out there is that so long as you know IT, you can do digital marketing. So long as you know IT, yeah. So maybe just say something about that.
Shout out to IT people. I used to be an IT person. I studied a Bachelor of Business in Information Technology. So everybody in our home, everybody anywhere you meet, be like, Alex knows IT. I was like, great. I do know IT. I will tell you the truth. I am a terrible social media marketer. Because I know IT, I know the tech, I know behind algorithms, etc., Google ads, Facebook ads, I know the data and how it's used and how to target and all those. But tell me to write a post that's like socially, like nice, educative, makes people want to be like, wow. No, I'm terrible, because I have a very small IT background, which was not actually never practiced. I never did anything with my degree practically. But imagine if somebody who has studied SAP, they've studied all those things, then you sit them and tell them to be social. They'll have a challenge, mainly because there's a breadth of expertise that's needed in social, and all these people. There's another. I'll also put it on the chat. There's also another thing that people are saying, that you want somebody to be customer service expert. So in social media, you bundle one person as, I want this person to be customers. So that person will need to respond to inquiries. So they're a customer service expert. You want them to be able to create content. So go on TikTok, make nice videos. You want them to be able to write good captions, become a good writer. You want them to become a media buyer, somebody who goes onto Facebook, understands the platform, understands media buying. You want them to become a strategist, because social also goes into strategy, where you say, now end of year is coming, what's our strategy, clearance sales, ABCD. You also want them to be that. And then you bundle all that in one job description and tell that person, we're looking for a digital marketing person. And you hope that they have 5 capacities or 10 capacities. And then they fail. They fail because they don't have. Sometimes they could win sometimes because it's trial and error and they learn on the job. But where will you get them a graphic designer? How will they learn to do all those capacities that are needed? IT people are also very terrible with the visuals. They'll build you a good system, but it looks hideous. So they'll do the same for your social posters, your flyers. There's no concentration on the user experience and all those things. It's not that they're bad people. It's just that's not their forte. It's not their skill set. So you see they fail because they would fail because of that. So IT people are great. I love them, ITGs, but they are holistically, it's a challenge to tell one person to have a split personality and expertise.
Yeah, actually, I just want to add to that, and I know Eunice probably wants to add to that as well, is that even when I'm mentoring, young people coming up, and I know one specific person who had actually told me that, I'm in IT and I'm getting social media jobs now, Rima, what do I do? And I told him the first thing and the basic thing is learn about marketing, because it is fine, it's online, it's a digital thing, I understand that, but if you don't know the basics of marketing, then how are you actually reaching to your customers? Do you even know who you're reaching to, right? I mean, and one of the things that Eunice and I always sort of talk about, even to our clients and when we're doing webinars, is that first of all, find your niche market. So whatever product or service you have, who's the segment that you're sort of speaking to, right? And how, what do they like? Because you're speaking about graphics right now, the graphic that would go with a young teenager will be very different from the graphic that is for a middle-aged person, or even a middle-aged person, a woman, or a middle-aged man, or an older person as well, right? So there's such a different thing. There's so much more to the marketing aspect of it that you have to understand and learn and know. So go back to basics in terms of your marketing. I mean, look, if you can't afford right now to go into, I would definitely recommend CIM, to go into CIM and do CIM. It's such an amazing course. It's called Chartered Institute of Marketing. But otherwise, apart from that, there are so many digital courses. You can find them even on YouTube. So a lot of times you get some free ones in there as well. So it's not just about posting, it's about understanding your target audience and then reaching to them. Otherwise, it'll be like you're posting for yourself because nobody's coming there, or you are buying likes, but none of the likes are actually your target audience because you can't see any conversion then as well.
Yeah.
So
yeah, look at the picture we're looking at right now. That graphically illustrates the message without saying too much. There's not much copy. It explains it. Oh, look at the traffic coming to your site. And then the leads, you could count them. And then the sale, you can't even eat it. It's not there, right? So that illustration is what you want your customers when you're putting out a message. You've got the image, you've got the copy. That's how you want that connection to come through to your customer. They totally get it without too much explanation. And the reason is we've noticed guys don't read. They scan, they glance, they want to just get the high level and then they move on. And if they're buying, they convert and they buy. And that's it. We used to write lengthy newsletters. Nowadays, we just have to write scannable newsletters with a good size image or a video that explains. And in fact, that's why videos may do better than images. Because the image falls flat, a video may tell a story better. I have time to listen and watch while I'm multitasking. Well, I can't read and multitask at the same time. So the role, I think, an SME owner or a startup founder will have a difficult time filling for, and in fact, that's why we, the experts, are here, is finding that person that can do it all, write the copy, do the graphic design, right, Alex? And then do the media buying. There's not one person who understands all those unless they've worked in the industry 20 years and have spent all those areas that whole time, right? So you finding that it's expensive to find an expert who brings you the right imagery, the right copy, and then knows how to boost and promote your content and distribute it as well. So that's why marketing has become so complex, and because there's all this moving cogs in there. So it's getting crazier, and it's getting even crazier for us marketers having to do the marketing for you, because you want an ROI, and then we have to try and figure out how we deliver that ROI to you.
So I was just trying to find that image, but I found another one. I think I have a database of many images that just trigger me when you see them. But yes, this, I think, as I was mentioning, is that digital goes beyond only thinking about traffic or leads, or even if you don't have a very clearly defined how it's going to go, that's when most times you find that's the confusion where people get, or that's where they suffer through. And as you mentioned, yes, there's different capacities. And even, for example, a person who's gone through all those ages on years of experience in graphics, in etc. Like, for example, I mentioned that when I started, I used to do a lot of graphic work. In any task of our business that have grown into something, I've done some graphic design. So we have digital designers. I understand if they tell me Illustrator, Photoshop, etc. If I jump into video, photography, etc., I've developed content myself. I've shot, I've done TikTok, or one of those and similar. If I come to media buying, I've done media buying, Google Ads, I've done all those. I have done content creation, and I mentioned I was not so good, but I've done it just a bit to some level of maybe mild success or not so good. Website design, I've known a bit about it, I've done it a bit. So imagine now taking all those years of experience that I have, and then you want a person like that. We're very few in the industry. So if you bring me on, and that's why we hired maybe in agencies, or we start agencies, because, or even marketing consultancies, because our expertise is broad. But if I was to sit in your company and for example, Skyrise, I'd love to know, like, if I would sit here, how much would you be willing to pay me for all my years of experience, and to also give you those returns that you're looking at? I'd love to get a round figure. What would you pay for somebody who's that holistic? You can write us on that, and we'd love to know so that we can measure.
So if we could get an understanding of who the marketers and the SMEs are in here, maybe we could ask the questions on your behalf. If you're feeling shy, I can I guess challenging the questions that you might have, but I would love for you to ask it yourself. Really, guys, there's no don't think your question is stupid or too simple. Honestly, we're all here to learn, and you'll be surprised that you may ask a question nobody's asked before, and we get to learn from you. So please go ahead, raise your hand, unmute yourself, ask the question, or write it in the chat, and we dive into it. If I could ask Alex, on behalf of a startup, I'm trying to get customers, I'm trying to get people to download my apps, or I'm trying to get people to start buying from us. We don't have an audience to say, what would my strategy be on the Kenya market right now, because we're not speaking on a global space, on the Kenya market?
Startups into digital, well, one of the best places they could survive, they could thrive, they could spend what they have and budget for that. In terms of marketing, it's one of the best places to win. And actually, if you start a startup and you have a good digital foundation, you do quite well in the market, because customer experience, you've plugged in a CRM. So you've kept your database from day one. 1 year later, you have 1,000 guys. You can keep sending them mailings, offers, etc. When you do your social, you're clean, you're starting out fresh. There's no 10 people who managed it. It's now horrific. People have bad reputation, etc. So it's one of the spaces to start very cleanly and well, considerably affordably, because with social ads, platforms give you can boost from as low as $1 a day. Facebook, Instagram, even Twitter, so you can do the same. So maybe a good strategy would, and I'm not saying it's a perfect, don't quote me and then start your business based on this, is that, of course, you have to go do your goal, target audience, then you choose your platform. So you decide my SMART goal, and I always say SMART goal: specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time-bound. You start a restaurant today, you decide, and my SMART goal will be, by the time 2 months from now, I want to be having 50 guests a day, 50 diner guests a day. And who are these diner guests? You go to your target audience, right? You go and say, who's going to be dining out on a random weekday? You say, oh man, this is these young people who go back, like they finish work, they don't like traffic, so they'll sit around, hang around in a restaurant, in a cafe. They'll chill with friends. So when you look at your target audience, what will be your value proposition to them? Yeah, my restaurant can have people chill and have a good time affordably, right? What is their age group? Well, they're young working professionals, 25 to 35 to 40. Then what will motivate them to come online? You say, oh, cool. Or what would motivate them to come there? So you have buy one, get one freeze. You have happy hours. You have events. You have whatever, chats, social spaces. So your restaurant is based on something. You come out digital and then say, oh, now which platform will I get 25 to 35 people? You go to Instagram, right? You go to Instagram, do your nice creatives, do your nice posters, do your nice ad objectives, start rinse repeating, acquiring your customers, rinse repeating, good customer experience, return customers, and you kind of bank on serving the customer well, acquiring, serving the customer well, acquiring new ones, depending if your business is a return kind of business. If it's like buying a car, man, I'm gonna buy a car once from you. So you also need like a broader reach. You need to show a value proposition. You need to have your cars on fleek. There's a lot of things to consider, but I would ideally just go around the same. Yeah.
Maybe. So you break it down that way. So you really examine what you do and break it down that way.
Yeah.
Got it.
Strategically, yeah.
Thank you. I think I saw some questions pop up.
Yes.
Yes, we've got some questions here. Let me see. Okay, start with Emma. How do you find inspiration for fresh content to post consistently?
Good one.
Say content is king.
I absolutely love that question.
Yeah.
I'd love to see if the team can go first, and then I can close. I know Rima does a really good content cycle. I love her posts. Her social looks on flick. How do you find that inspiration, and where do you get it?
Great. I'm glad to hear that. We've got experts in our team. We've got experts in our team. They do marketing. They understand, like where to actually get this information from. But ideally, the idea here is, first of all, know what your customers want and give them more of what they want, first of all. Second thing is, you want to do the whole, we have these 5 E's that we kind of go with.
Yeah.
Okay, so we've got engage, educate, entertain, excite, and empower.
Yeah.
Right. So you want to make your posts engaging. You want to educate them on certain items. You want to entertain them. You want to excite them. You want to empower them. Sometimes it's a combination of these, and sometimes it's one or the other of it as well.
Yeah.
Of course, at the end of the day, I mean, it's an array of different things. So when we're doing strategy, we're thinking, for example, what is it that you want to send out first, right? Do you want to educate them first?
Yep.
Or would you like to, first of all, just, do an empowerment or an excitement, something, so that it's very captivating? And you don't have to have them all at the same time. But then the campaign would be around something that you're, for example, promoting. And it doesn't necessarily mean, oh, buy one, get one free kind of promotion. Promotion could be you're talking about your product or service, and you're actually letting people know about what you do and how you do it. And then educative ones, and I know, Alex, maybe you're also mentioning about the educative ones, because we sort of post in a lot of bits and pieces about what you can be able to like take as a tip for yourself, for example, right? Something that's educative, something helpful that you have out there. So I think for me, that would be it. I would love to know from my group as well, my team, because they do quite a bulk of these things as well. But you know, Eunice, why don't you go first?
Gosh, you know, Rima and I partner a lot and stuff, so we're doing pretty much almost about the same things. And the education part for me is super important because I'm dealing with startups a lot, and therefore we was in the space of how do I do this? And for the most part, because they're budget conscious, that educate and empowering is super important for them. So it's in the space of finding new ways of doing stuff. If, for example, bigger brands are using a certain tool in a certain way, as I can say, hey, look, you try, how about using Facebook for this, and then using TikTok for that, or start your conversation at TikTok, which is 1 minute video, and then finish it the rest of the conversation on YouTube. So you're cross-pollinating across platforms, where you've got an audience in each platform, but your message needs to be fully developed in a broader sense. Especially, say, for example, it can't be delivered in 1 minute. It needs to be captured in a YouTube video in, say, 10 minutes. But you need to capture that audience, get them excited at TikTok, educate and empower them in YouTube. So you use I find what other brands are doing and figure out how startups can use it and do it, can use those tricks and tips to do it.
Oh, I think your answers are very holistic. Yes, I'm also a big believer of content pillars. So that's your themes, educate, decide what will you educate with on your business. The offers, promos. You can choose different content pillars, knowledge about products.
Yep.
And I think that gives you enough stuff to cycle around even beyond products. So that gives you quite a holistic view, Emma, on how to bring content is king, or how to fulfill that content is king discussion.
And I can add to that, that, for us, in an industry that requires that. What if you are in financial, or a boring industry like manufacturing or biotech, somewhere where there's no exciting, there's no engaging, how do you get content and make that, have something to say on social, right? It's what your company is doing, company news and excitement, right? Even new research that you guys are working on, even surveys, bringing the world in to see what you guys are working in, and taking them through that and showing them the back, the back door of what goes on in your company, because they're like, what really happens in manufacturing? It's now, you can see all these videos on YouTube of what happens in a sweets factory, what happens in a tire factory. You could do one in your biotech factory. So do stuff like that kind of opens the veil to what goes on in your company without giving away trade secrets. It creates content, and guys get to know you, and then it also builds trust.
Very much correct there, yes. I think even in boring industries, there is something, if even actually your business is in niche of, for example, engineers, they'll always want that nerdy kind of write-up or conversation that you're having. They'll always be like, oh, cool. And it doesn't have to be if you're in a very complex industry, you could be your 2 posts a week, one month. It really depends. You don't have to aggressively push it. If it's not going to be your key or core marketing platform, then you're just there for updates, be there, be consistent, be known in the industry. And one of those green, I call them evergreen pieces of content, where it does even your customer really appreciates the sourcing, the way you do it, and etc. And if they see that, they know you're a quality product supplier. We've worked with some engineering firms doing lubricants, you know, like this stuff is hella boring. But the more you give info about additives, about etc., you'd find that you'd win a lot of people who are just following to be keen for offers or something like that.
Yeah.
And I think this product is much more superior.
Yeah. I think it's really good that we're actually talking about this in terms of content, because I think definitely feel like a lot of people get stuck on that and they don't know what to put, and then they start doing the whole motivation Monday and throwback Thursday and stuff like that. I mean, it's not a bad thing for sure. And like what Alex is saying, it doesn't necessarily mean that you have to do like 5 or 6 times or 7 times a week post, for example, and you can just do it 2 or 3 times in a week. But some of the post ideas I love that I feel like would really work is because first remember that that's where you're engaging with your existing customers. You're actually engaging there with your potential customers. You're engaging that like somebody who's in between, maybe they've never known about you and they've come there to actually look for you, because this is what people do. When they find out about a particular business, they will come and look for what kind of content do you have, what do you have to offer. I mean, apart from the website. So website would have all the information. Social media has now like so much more dynamic information that's actually happening all the time. But some of the things you can do is like have engaging posts, for example. Like you want to engage with those customers, whether it's existing customers or new potential customers that are out there. So make sure that having engaging posts would be really helpful. Like, for example, choosing something against something, so how do you actually engage people? Your testimonials, your reviews, what are your customers, existing customers saying about your business? Again, because someone comes in there and how do you want to make them convert very easily? So conversion ones would be like, what's my peer saying? What is somebody else who is already a customer of, for example, Archer Digital saying about your business? So those are something that's really important. Being transparent about, for example, like in manufacturing, you could say something like, where are you sourcing your products from? Or I'm all Kenyan, and so doing something around that as well. So there's so many different ideas, like your FAQs, for example. Your customers are always constantly asking that same question over and over and over. So make sure that the FAQs are also like, heard up, and then do that as a post as well, and do that as several posts maybe as well. So highlighting one of your employees, people get to know, people trust people. So if you're talking about your people, then put them out there as well. This guy does my delivery. So if you see him, please do say hi. This guy is the one who actually will find you at the reception, or this lady is the one who actually does XYZ, So, I mean, in terms of content, there's so much stuff that we'll be able to do. We're doing actually the next one, we're doing it on social media tips. So I think I'm specifically going to put together some more ideas and tips and tricks in terms of content on that webinar as well, right? So I think that's such a great question to start with. We can spend like, I think, hours on this one, I think.
Yes.
Talking about this.
All right. Another question?
We've got Skyrise asks, no, sorry, hang on. Before Skyrise, after Emma, we had Nina. How best can a business get more organic engagement on LinkedIn? I know Eunice, LinkedIn for her is the best. Like, she loves LinkedIn. I think the 2 places you hang out is LinkedIn and Twitter.
I do.
Yeah.
I do. One thing for LinkedIn, and being it's a professional site, people are looking for jobs, people are engaging folks for professional reasons, right? You will find the experts you're looking for, and you will find the people that need to buy the products or the decision makers that need to buy your products or its services, right? So if I go in there and I'm looking for IT managers, and I want IT managers in Kenya, I can search and say, okay, then let me see IT managers in Kenya, to message them or follow them or whatever. Now, if I was doing an ad, my only qualm with LinkedIn is how expensive it can be to do ads on LinkedIn, right? It's not for the faint of heart. You have to be very, very strategic in how you use LinkedIn and buying ads on there. It can be done. You can get your money's worth. Well, if you know who you're going after and be very, very targeted with. Now, for organic engagement, if you're active on LinkedIn, you're posting, you're commenting, you're adding your 2 cents in the discussion, you're likely to find that every time you're on there and you're engaging, or even writing articles and you're posting it, because now you can write articles on LinkedIn, you find that you get following and people commenting on your content. But if you're not engaging at all, you'll find that your content just will not go anywhere. And what LinkedIn also does is that it will also ask you to do certain things. Hey, tag a few people. Your post is doing well, but if you tagged a few people, it will do better. It also shows your post to certain people. I've seen posts being recommended to me based on subjects. They're on startups, on analytics, on marketing. So based on what they see you like and what your hashtags of choices are, they'll recommend posts to you. So consider your post will be recommended to people. So if you do that, log in there often, comment, say happy birthday to folks, congratulate people on their promotions, connect with people. Actually, the first thing is to connect with people, because if you're just posting stuff and you've never said hello, never said, never engaged with somebody, they're not likely to engage back. But to really make a connection, because that's how the engagement will grow from there. They get to know you and you get to know them, and from there you grow.
I think you answered that question pretty well, Eunice, for individual to individual. What about a B2B, or a business? I think Skyres has mentioned this. They keep linking really. They've not got a single conversion, but that's a really good angle to go when your individual Alex wants to have a good presence on there. It's really as personal, as organic as you can get. It's like a small village of, I engage with you organically, true, I form a connection, and that brings that kind of back and forth together. But what if it's a company? I have a company page. What would be your recommendations?
See, the challenge is people buy from people they know, right? So when I've built a connection with folks and I then go say, hey, go like my page, I have no problem getting people to go like my page, my company page. And then when I post something there, I can try and get them to engage there better. Now, try that when you've not built a connection with folks at all. It'd be difficult to do so. First, they don't know who you are and what you mean, like and follow my page. And then you want me to engage? No. So try that first so that you can now win them over. And then from then on, you now always are engaging them on your company page. So if I post something on analytics on my Biz Marketers page, I'll see 5 people liked it. Somebody commented, oh, and I thought about this, Eunice, and maybe you like this, and that will drive the engagement there. But will not happen if people don't know who you are and they're not connected with you. It'd be harder when you're a newer brand. If you're an established brand, you've got customers and customers come in there and follow because they love what you do, then you already have that traction. Well, you're a newer brand and you need people to know who you are. You need to now try build that first, right? So especially when you don't have the money to throw the ads to drive customer engagement to your LinkedIn page, you want to do that one-on-one. If you've got the money, your Gap or Safaricom, those guys already can do that without having to get to know anybody. The brand already has its identity, so to speak. That's what you're trying to get to, that identity, then drive it to your page, and then that page begins to get that identity on its own.
Very good. Yes, I believe that. So what I'm hearing from you, and also what I believe, is that as a startup or an SME, it's very owner-led or team-led. Like your team can also be aggressive there, and they get the people into understanding what you guys do. They know them as experts, and it's a very I need to know this kind of person. And if it's now bigger, since you can spend some more money on that to promote, really cares about the front end of the face, unlike probably platforms like Facebook and Instagram, where you don't really need to know the CEO of my business, Ardy, okay, some guys will do this, yeah.
Alex, that content we were talking about behind the scenes of my company, or updates, press releases, those need to go on your company page so people get updates of what's going on your company, right? So then that way people get to know the brand as it stands on its own without the owner, because you want the owner to be an owner, but the brand to stand on its own. That way you're building that brand identity as well, right? So guys, if you've acquired a new company, you've partnered with, I don't know who, Coca-Cola or whoever, that announcement needs to go there. You're doing some CSR activity in the community and here photos, those need to go there. People will celebrate you on that company on that page, and that way you're building that brand identity further.
Yeah, so I'm just gonna say also, like, even bigger brands, you see that on LinkedIn, the leaders of these bigger brands or bigger companies, they're actually doing quite a bit of the, of the work or sharing of information about their businesses on their personal LinkedIn pages, because it is actually more powerful. Like I definitely feel like, going individually on LinkedIn is very good, and people connect with you when you actually like inbox or message them. There's a likelihood, especially if your message doesn't sound salesy, and if you're just saying, hi, want to connect with you, can we get to know each other, you get more chances of actually connecting with people that you've been looking for all over the place, and you can find them on LinkedIn to do that. So very, very good, powerful way, and it's all non-paid. It's all organic. So yeah. And of course, engaging other people in their posts as well, so then people can get to know about you. So like for me, it will be Ardy marketing, so it's Rima replying, or it's Ardy marketing replying, but whatever it is, people then be like, who's this? Okay, let me click and just find out. There'll be a few people who'll be talking about that. So talk about things within your expertise, so be part of those conversations when people are bringing something up. And then, yeah, would definitely help on that. Okay, let's see. What other questions do we have? We had the optimize and get conversions on LinkedIn. We've already talked about that. Thanks, Kyrise, also for talking about this. Okay, so a quick question. How do you filter responses on blog posts? It's really difficult managing content on company blogs and constantly getting Russian spammers, online drug sellers. Okay, I know that Terry has replied to you, but yeah. And thanks, Terry, for actually sort of responding to that as well. Oh gosh.
There are tools that help. Terry educated me on one I used to use, that what was Discuss, that you could help you filter out spam. I think I'd let Terry respond to that because he's our expert.
He's already said something, so I'm just going to reply to say it out loud. If you are using WordPress, there is an anti-spam integration with Google that should reduce your spam count from Russian and other unwanted websites by 99.9%.
Awesome.
Higher than Dettol and germs. Nice one. So it's and there's more information about. There's a link there for reCAPTCHA.
Awesome.
So yeah, definitely. So Terry is he's our website guru in here. So for sure, whatever he says, we go with. So, yep. So that would be helpful. Hope that's helpful for you, Skyrise. Yeah.
There's a question from Martin. Hello, is pay-per-click really cost-effective, especially for a startup? Alex, I'll let you go first before I answer that.
Interesting. Again, in anything, no one shoe fits everybody. Sorry, it's slow down. So just the way you would go and think about Google Ads in some industries might be hella cheap. Like there's no competition in that industry. It's the best platform to get where people are asking for. For example, if you're looking for a mover, movers in Nairobi. So you just go and I'm ready to move. Look, your business is literally triggered when somebody is ready to do something. Movers in Nairobi. So I'm ready to be triggered. So I go search and I find. So for some industries, because they're not competitive, the pay-per-click can be however cheap, can be even a cent, 0.01, and you get your clicks and people come through. Other industries, if you try, for example, a travel industry, and you try to get travelers in the US, Masai Mara packages to Kenya, and you're trying to target Europe, that would be a pretty costly, because people are willing to pay that once in a lifetime kind of holiday for people in Europe. They know that will be a big commission for them as travel agents and etc. So you find somebody is willing to spend $50 a click, and you have your $5, so you might suffer. But it does not fit everybody, but it's a significantly great platform, especially if your business is triggered by need, like I need to move, I search. I need the digital marketers in Nairobi, I search, and I'm triggered and I find. But if you're doing a very general, something that will do better on social, like what? Like this, there's a lot of examples that they're not coming to now. Restaurant. And you don't even have restaurants. There are many, because now if somebody is searching for a restaurant in Nairobi, man, there could be so many. Is it really worth the coin to spend, unless you've really done a nice restaurant and you want people for 4-star and above, 5-star? It's an experiential thing. But on social, you do a restaurant promotion, you get a lot more conversion. So as well, it could be affordable. Maybe Martin, you could expand on industry, and we can check if your industry is one of those that we think and assume, until you go into the back end and see what people are average cost per bid and things like those are. I can't have a very clear answer, but I think it's one of the most affordable platforms to use.
So my 2 cents would be, consider what you're trying to do in addition to that. What are you looking for? Customer acquisition, and what's the geography you're looking at, right? If you're looking for the entire continent of Africa, and you have the budget for it, of course you can do it. It's cost effective because you can't go doing flyers all over the continent. It's not going to work, and you're not going to be able to reach the folks, the target audience you're looking for in each country the way you would want if without pay-per-click. I think you'll probably do better with pay-per-click until you have infrastructure or teams in those countries. Pay-per-click gets you there faster. The cost is the ridiculous bit. So you probably are looking for least competitive keywords to get you to that conversion. Certain industries, like Alex is saying, insurance, healthcare, drug industry, those tourism, those guys, they're paying through the nose for the keywords. But if you're in a space with not knowing what industry you're in, can't say whether it's cost effective. Just find your niche and maybe find the keyword that's least competitive. And there's keyword spy tools out there to look for keywords that are least competitive. I think Neil Patel has a tool that you can use. Just Google keyword spy tools, and you'll see tools suggested, and you can try and search a keyword pertaining to your industry and see how much it costs. But Neil Patel's tool, I think, tells you even per country how much that keyword costs, right? So try, you never know. I've done ads on Google for $100, which is 10K. I've done for 50, which is 5K. On Facebook, I've done for as little as 10. So, and I've done all the way to $40,000. So it can be done.
Great. Thanks, guys. I've got so many questions in here, so we're going to go through them as we go along. Sheila's asked, what do you have to say about getting celebrity or influencer endorsements? The influencer question. Of course, we had to have that one, right? It's the thing to happen. Sorry, I mean, I definitely want to like talk about that. And you know,
Yeah.
Let's start with, first of all, is the influencer or celebrity that is going to endorse or, you know, do that marketing relevant for your business? Are they touching your target audience? Are they talking to your target audience? That's really important, right? And influencers can be micro influencers and then macro influencers. So your macro influencer is like your celebrity, like a big celebrity with over like even 100,000 or even up to 1 million over likes on their page or followers. But are they really speaking to your target audience is really, really important. And sometimes doing something for micro influencers are like literally people who have 1,000 people who are following them. They're more like my family, more like my friends, my family, you know, and you're trying to target something like that. You'd probably rather go for a situation where you have micro influencers and a lot more of those. Because here's the other thing, you have to think about how much is a celebrity going to charge you versus what is the ROI around it as well. Very important part, of course, because you also have to look at into your budgets as well, that you're spending all of this and then what is it bringing back to you. And it doesn't necessarily mean it's going to turn into a sale immediately as well. It could just be like a whole bunch of people who are going to you know, give you like ask for inquiries. So inquiries probably come in, or people just get to know about you and then maybe start following you. But then are they the right followers for you as well? I mean, like that's really important questions that you need to ask yourself when you go for influencer marketing or influencer endorsement on something. Endorsement wise, I mean, like I think the other thing you can probably think about is, again, whoever is endorsing you, again, you have to pay them for them to endorse you, more, whether it's cash or otherwise. It could be like by kind or in kind, but does it weigh out for you as well? Not a bad thing, it's a good thing, and there's a lot of ones that are working, but then you've got to be very critical about it. But yeah, Alex, Eunice, maybe you want to add some things to that.
Sure.
Alex, go first.
All right, thank you. So, guess my thoughts, similar to Rima, are as well. I think a lot of small businesses are finding this out the hard way, is that somebody with a large following is not an influencer, it's just people with large followings. An influencer is somebody who, in a space, people consider they would listen to. So an influencer would be if somebody, you're obsessed with traveling and you follow somebody whose niche is understanding travel, curating her own travel or his travel, and they want to do nice experiences, and you follow them because of that, and they have a huge following because of that. Not really a huge, they could even have 20,000, 10,000, but that person is very influential in that, and that's where the name comes from. They're very influential in a space. So some return is when you get this person with a huge following, you know, what they do is, you know, whatever they're doing is bringing them a lot of followers. Maybe they're beautiful ladies and people just like following them, and they're weird people. So for your brand, what kind of audience will that bring? And like, does it really matter does it really matter if for them, like if they post this, post that, there's no niche they have, they just have a huge following, and then they charge a huge lump sum, yet they don't know how they'll be able to attribute they've not told you how they want to do their content, they don't know, you've not discussed on A, B, C, D. So that then brings that there will be a very little value to your shilling that you spent to them. But yet some influencers in some spaces are great. Some people who are travel advisors, maybe other industries, maybe they're cooks, they're chefs, and people look up to them and they're like, wow. So if they influence for like a knife brand that's new and like it's a fancy knife or something, you'd see sales would come up because people are like, yeah, this, they've explained, and even the content they do, not they just take your flyer and post it and then they hope that it will do something. Even the content, they listen to the brand, they take that product and they listen to it. And maybe one of the good examples I'll give is this lady who cooks, Kaluhi's Kitchen. Kaluhi's Kitchen, as somebody whose niche is influencing in great food, making amazing dishes and all those things. Is a well-renowned even globally. She's, I think, she's one of those home cooks that are well recognized by her following. If that person was to recommend Royco today, that's a very good influential partner, because it's showing you how to do Royco recipes, and you'd know that people will be like, I'm keen to go and try that. So the product could then be bought, could have built a lot of awareness. It's all good to the brand. But yeah, ideally, my thoughts on influencer engagement is maybe pick, even if you want to go into it, have somebody who's a partner who thinks about the content, who thinks about your product, goes out there, maybe sells it the way you would sell it, and then is happy to also give you the data, like what did I do with this? How can we help you get sales? Not send me a flyer, it's going to be 15K for a story and buy, and that's it. What type of partnership is that? So yeah, maybe those are my 2 cents.
That's great info, actually, Alex. That is such great info. And I think we keep forgetting that, again, like I said, it's so important to know that, are they speaking to the right people? Again, I mean, imagine a bigger chef who actually comes in and says, this is the only knife I use. And then everybody who follows that person will go and buy that knife. And so that way sales goes, whoop, so that's a big influence on purchase for sure. So yeah, get people who are more relevant to what you're selling. Eunice, you want to add something, or should we go into the next question?
You guys nailed it. Good one.
Thanks. Okay, so we've got Neptune, our own Neptune, asking this question specifically to Alex. Hootsuite indicated in their latest Kenya digital status report that 84.8% of internet users between age 16 to 64 years use social media when searching brands. What can businesses take home from this?
That's a very good question from Neptune. And actually, you should post that link. That survey or that report was so good. It's so detailed, and it's like a global statistic report. So I'll just post up the link there. I saw it, I loved it. And even if you have maybe, even if the percentage skews, maybe 84 might be a bit high because they're random sampling, but that's also to show that there's quite a huge amount of internet users using social. And one of the things I actually learned from that report, I literally learned this recently, is that Facebook is the second largest search platform, that a lot of people just come and search. I was like, no way. I was like, yes way. And I was like, no way, yes way. So what businesses can take home from this is obviously the digital movement is happening. It's offering convenience. You tell somebody about a brand, they quickly look you up. They see your billboard out there, they want to search you up. Whatever marketing is now even transitioning more into how do I transition these guys into going and learning more about us into a digital platform. So even as you go and distribute your flyers, people will still come online to try and do whatever you've asked them to do. And a big take home for me is for SMEs to align or optimize their marketing efforts. Your word of mouth, you share in a group, give people an easy call to action, send them to a website, send them to your WhatsApp direct, send them to what they can do. If you give them a flyer, can they QR code scan it? Or even if that's a bit complex, just tell them, find us on ABCD platform. We answer your queries quick. Make sure that they know that these platforms are there and they're active, because it's where it's convenient. And lastly is businesses need to also adapt to be able to be found faster online. So your hashtags, your keywords and captions, make sure you're explanatory. If you're posting about your product and you know people might search it, take the seat of the user. You're selling laptops. I don't know. I wish I had a different example. But if you're selling something, use what the user would search.
Yeah.
Give that in the description. Give that as your hashtag. Make yourself more findable, if that's a word.
Yep.
More findable online using this tool, because you can see even if they're not searching for the brand they're searching for. I'm looking, like for me, obviously anything I'm going to look for in a Christmas tree. I'm not gonna go to the supermarkets and hop around hoping that I'll just search Christmas tree Kenya, Christmas tree Nairobi. I find somebody who's selling it, I save it, buy my Christmas tree, and that's it. Quick. And yeah, maybe that's my take home. Be ready to be found easier on the digital platforms.
Great. That's pretty, relevant for everybody to learn. And thanks for that, Alex. I just wanted to add something to this. So one of the services that we provide is called reputation marketing, and one of the most important parts of it is foundability is important. The way Alex is saying, be found. So your hashtags are important. Your keyword SEO for your website is important. So when people are actually searching for a particular keyword, your website should come onto the first page of the search engine. And right now in Kenya would be just Google would be your main one. And of course, the social media pages, like Alex is saying, that, even people go on Instagram and then start searching for a particular kind of product or a service or something like that as a hashtag, and you've got to be findable, so to say. Findability has to be there. But one thing that would actually tip over a client to purchase from you, especially if they don't know you, is your reputation or the reviews your clients have written about you. What are your clients saying about you is really, really important. And Facebook provides that, the recommendation part of it, where would someone recommend you or not? So I think for me, just to say or to add to that in terms of social media, is that please make sure that you send out that link to your existing clients as the least thing that you do, and say that, please, can you give us feedback? Please, can you review? Please, can you write something for us? Whether it's on your Facebook page, and you can send a link directly from your Facebook page. So click, sort of copy the link and then send it on email or WhatsApp or whatever, or SMS. Or from your Google My Business. So Google My Business, again, is one of those places that people look for you and find whether you're actually, how many stars do you have, basically? If you have anything less than 3 stars or 3 stars or less, even 3 stars, people will not buy from you. Or if you don't have any reviews at all, then they're like, I don't know if this business I can trust that business, or I can trust to give that money to that business, right? So I just wanted to add that part of it in there. Again, we talked a lot about influencer marketing. I remember when we had the last chat last month, and I just want to let everybody know that please do go to the YouTube page, either My Biz Marketer page or Ardy Marketing YouTube page, and you'll find the recordings in there. So please go and actually sort of, view that for yourself. And because we talked about the influencer marketing in depth, I just sort of remembered that. So I said, let me just sort of throw that in. I'll ask the team to actually share the links in here, so you'll be able to sort of go through that as well. Eunice, should we take the next question?
Sure.
Okay, great. I love this one, More. After the head of Instagram said that Instagram is no longer a photo sharing app, they will be focusing on video. Does this mean that photos and images will no longer be used? Like, will it be another TikTok? Alex, you want to take that one?
Sure. Actually watched his video, and what he was meaning, I think it was taken out of context. A lot of people thought they're just transforming it to TikTok, but not in essence what they were saying. They're saying they're trying to focus on more and better contents. produced from, guys, and seeing that video is big and people are creating and people want to consume, you want to consume short, nice pasta videos. So just giving more likeliness to short videos and etc. But their focus is to try and improve the platform to be able to offer you more and more better content, personalized content, what you watch a lot, and yeah, probably like what TikTok is. But I don't think they will switch it because people still do that. That platform TikTok was built for that. Instagram was built, but they sold us on sharing moments and family and friends and businesses. So they would not eliminate this whole crowd, the 30 plus, 40 plus, who came here to not consume amazing content only, but to have more personalized interactions, keep track with what people are, friends and family are doing. So they're not getting rid of us. They are just saying they would like to recommend or personalize more and better content. And it continues now pushing the thought for brands as well. You're selling office space, but you need to kind of sell it nicely. You need to give people nice walkthroughs, short burst videos, nice memes, nice fun moments. They want it to not be like sad, or like, whoa, your content is so boring, the photos look so boring. That's what they don't want, just to keep up with the platforms that are highly competing right now.
Yeah.
And it's also about the trend, right? I mean, like, more video content is being consumed by people. So it's not to say that people are not consuming the images as well. I mean, that's really great. And you can see, like, when people have a carousel of images, you click through them and you'll see what people have written, right? But there's more video content that is being consumed by people. And that's the trend that's globally there. And same here for Kenya as well. And so rightfully so. Thanks for clarifying that, Alex, and that it's not going to be like completely being removed and it's just going to be another TikTok. But for your businesses, guys, that is important. Please do video content. Small little bits and pieces about your product, your service. Like Alex said, your walkthroughs and things of that sort. Very, very helpful, so that your consumers or your customers are able to connect with you in much better ways, right?
Yeah, absolutely. YouTube has even jumped into the bandwagon. They have YouTube Shorts. So and think about Africa, where we are bandwidth constrained, where you don't have time to watch hour-long movies. You probably want to see funnies and in short bursts. So TikTok works very well for Africa, where you can see your funny comedians in a 1 minute, and now they've got the 3-minute segment, so you can do that. And they've got TikTok Live as well. So this goes perfectly for us in Africa because of that constraint. But it doesn't say that, long form videos won't work, but go for it. Do a short form. And something in the 1 minute feels like it's a short one, but try do a 1 minute video and see how long that feels. It feels like a long, but it's long. But yeah, honestly, it's the sign of the time. We don't want to read, we want to see and hear and be immersed, and let it be an experience, let it be exciting, let me learn something new. The ease come through this, whether you're in TikTok or Instagram, it's all about those ease. Kid you not.
And I was just gonna say that, like even Alex, their creative team, to put that 1 minute video together, amount of work that goes into it.
Yes.
Like the editing and the publishing part and the imaging and all that. And I know there are tools out there that can probably help much better, for like amateurs like you and me. But yes, I mean, there's quite a bit of work that actually goes into a good quality 1 minute video, right?
Yeah.
But just to kind of add to that, for both, like from both of you, I would love to hear why we talked about TikTok right now. Do businesses, or would businesses, why would someone, or why would a business go into TikTok, and would that be helpful to them? And what kind of businesses would thrive in a TikTok environment, and for what reason? Like, I want to know, like, who, like, as an SME, with someone out there, who would like, does everyone or any company would, go into TikTok? What's the kind of market are we looking at?
I want to say when I'm seeing ads being pushed through TikTok. So if you open your TikTok, the first thing you might see is an ad, right? So when we start to buy ad spaces, you will start to see, remember when Facebook started, there were no ads, right? So TikTok started without the ads, but slowly they're creeping in. So that's this ad space. But the brands will step away from doing the ads. And this is, I think, will be a combination of ads and entertainment, but a way of just getting us human beings excited about the brands, and it's brands humanizing themselves. So my biz marketer making fun of itself. We're at the office and we just ordered chai and mandazis, and here we are goofing off with our chai and mandazis. It's a quick TikTok, and you see us. You get to see the people behind the desk and who you interact with. So those probably will be things you see. If you're a manufacturing firm, it's, guys checking in at the office, or guys logging in and, badging in. It's something fun happening, or something cool happening. We're chopping up bamboo to make furniture, something that engages your audience, educates, excites, engages. So I think that's the way TikTok would work for a brand. Just because, notice how annoying the ads are in Facebook. You're watching a video that you like, it's some video about decorating a bedroom, or something, and halfway through it interrupts your experience with the video, with that video, to bring you an ad. And for the most part, most people just move on and don't even finish watching the video. So you notice the stats of our in analytics, which we don't get all of, is the views are not all there, because people give up. I'm like, commercial, yeah, I was in the mood, but now I'm not in the mood anymore. So we probably want to create videos, instead of them being ads, be entertainment, but are ads in entertainment form. Do you see what I'm saying?
In a clever way.
So if I was Skyrise, it's just maybe them doing an ad of them going into their office building, and what it's like to go into their office building, their security checks or whatever. And it's not an ad, it's somebody just going into the building, but it's kind of an ad kind of thing. That's my take.
Great. Alex?
Sorry, guys, my computer is freezing a bit. Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, super. I was really hanging. I don't know why. But maybe I'd go contrary to Eunice's opinions.
Go ahead.
It's a great platform. I like the personalization angle, but for a brand, even a big brand, whatever brand, especially if it's not a visual brand, if it's not a storytelling kind of experiential visual brand, I would go for the personalization angle. But would I really have to invest in creating all those TikToks? It's a really stretch on constraints. And what also sometimes we say, just choose platforms that won't stretch you to doing too much. Because with TikToks, like, you see what creators do and you're like, wow, even us as a digital agency with video editors and etc., we don't have the time for this. First of all, we don't know if somebody will consume this. It'll spend a whole 2 days to do all this content. Then we put it on TikTok and we're like, it's a prayer. And I like, it works really well for visual businesses and storytelling kind of businesses. I've seen people now follow a lot of restaurants because they do short clips, ding, 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 nice food, and you're like, wow, that's a great experience. Their events, their etc. And I'll do that. I'll follow you on TikTok, and it'll be cool. But now probably when it comes up as an advertising place as well, now sure, then let's go there to advertise. Our call to actions will always not become and much more about TikTok content, We come to our website, buy our shit, come and do this and this and this. But I feel, for example, I would never take Archer on TikTok. We are fun, we are young, but it seems like just the time consumption effort to try and make things look cool. There's too much. It's too much of a constraint for an SME, for us as an SME. For any clients actually we serve, we've just been looking at them and we're like, you want us to do TikTok? And we tried with 2 and we were like, did you think it was worth it? Now here's your TikTok bill. Please pay. Would you be happy to do this every month? And they were like, the content we were doing on Facebook and Instagram is just great. Thanks. It's the return on investment, when it comes to it, it's a great editing tool. If you want to create content, edit it really nicely, use it to distribute for other platforms. That's what we do. But beyond that, growing a following on there as well, hectic, unless you are a very visual brand. Maybe in the Kenyan space, for example, we're not so many on even the already existing platforms. If it's in the US, there's 200 north of whatever million people are there. You might just strike the luck showing them plants on TikTok and being fun with planting. But in Kenya, they're like, skip. I want to watch people cooking and going out and all those things.
Yeah. Dancing. Yeah, great, Alex. Thanks so much for that. Okay,
great perspective.
Yeah, it really is, and it's good to know the both sides of it as well. Something to explore if you can do it on your own, if it's something that you can be able to put a budget towards it as well, and time. And I think time is money as well, because there's so much time you have to use to actually create that content as well. So that's great. All right, so we're coming to the close of this webinar. What I wanted to do is, one, if you haven't subscribed to our YouTube channels, please go ahead and do that. Please subscribe. I know there's More has already shared over here the links to it. Please give us feedback. We would love to hear from you in terms of how did you like our webinars? How do you like interacting with us? We've got some 2 review and feedback links in there as well. Kindly just click on them and please just, leave us some review and feedback. We'd love to hear about how do you like this, or even any other topics you'd like us to, do in future. One of the topics that you told us that you'd like us to do was social media tips and tricks, and that's happening next. What date it is? Can someone actually put up the poster so that everyone can see this? And I think it is on. Wait, it's in 2 weeks' time, so it must be on the 14th, if I'm not mistaken. So on the 14th, we'll share the link in here as well. Please do come for that. We're going to do a nice little webinar just around tips and tricks on what to do on social media marketing, because again, we heard from you, so we're doing something about what you'd like us to hear from, about what you guys would like to hear from us. I would like to stop, because before we stop, I would like to talk about measurement. So in part of digital marketing, one of the major things that people forget is metrics and measurements, right? I would, and this is like as a parting shot, maybe Alex and Eunice, and then of course myself, just maybe take a minute and just speak about, or even 30 seconds or whatever, but speak about measurement and how that helps in terms of your social media marketing, and why social media marketing would actually help with that. Because of course there's data, as opposed to when you put a billboard up and you don't know how many eyeballs would actually go on there, of course, apart from the traffic on the number of cars that pass through there, or number of people that pass through there. But yes, let's talk about that for a minute. Who would you like to start? Eunice, you want to start?
I will. I can. Measuring it is I love to measure, because it tells us, if just as Alex says, look at the amount of work you have to do for a TikTok, or how much you have to pay for that TikTok. Don't you want to measure and see how many eyeballs you got on that TikTok, so that you can actually calculate the ROI and say, we're doing that again, or we are not doing that ever again. Yes, so do the calculations, right? You want to see how your posts are doing, so that you know which ones to rinse and repeat and do again and try a different variations of, so that then you stay in business. That's the only reason you measure. Honestly, if you want to stay, if you don't measure, you're not going to know what you're not doing, what you're doing right. You're not going to know when you're doing it right, and you're not going to know when you're doing something wrong. So, and it begins first with the goals that you set in the first place, so that you know what to measure at the end. So if our goal was conversions, that little tiny spinach at the end over there should not have been that little tiny spinach. And remember that graphic illustrations where we had a nice big healthy safria of spinach, and in the end it was, you couldn't even stick a fork in it, right? So you want to know, okay, when I start with this bowl of spinach, I'd like to end with X amount. And so when it doesn't end that way, what can I do to fix that so that I can get better results? And that's measuring. So do measure, but start with the goal and the objectives so that you're able to measure the right things.
Great, Eunice. Thanks very much. Alex?
Yep, big nod on strategy and measurement. So whatever you're tying SMART goal, then use the platform and its data to be able to measure, try to do all the attribution. Even if you're a service business, make sure you ask people where did they hear you from. And at least you get to know, oh, my Facebook has brought me 3 customers this month. So attribution, then let's repeat what you've done, because data then helps you be like, if I reached 1,000 people this month and I got 3 customers, would I try a multiplier of 2? Will I get 6 customers? Will I be able to achieve my goal? And the platform, the data actually helps all those other things you're doing, more content. The data helps you understand, was that video or TikTok that you really invested in doing helpful? I love that one of the people have said they've got a customer organically from TikTok, which is great. Then you measure, you realize, oh, TikTok is great, brought me 1 customer and we've done literally nothing. Let's do something. Next month, let's see if we get 2 customers. So measurement is big. It will help you then stop having that frustration of social media is so tiring. Social media is such a fun space. You keep playing with different pieces of content, people's ideas, feedback, and types of content. It's a game every month. Oh, and then you realize it's helping me this way, it's not helping me that way. So yeah.
That's great. And what I love, I just want to add to this, what I love is set an objective. So if you set an objective and then measure, against it, that is perfect, because then you know whether you did well or you didn't do well, So, measurement part of social media is what we love. And we love to do something called A/B testing. So go put out 2 different images and see which of that actually, change one item of that, maybe the title, maybe the image, maybe something like color, and then see which one is more resonating to your target audience or to your customers, right? And so that's some of the things that we actually thrive on when we're doing, campaigns, especially on online. But that brings us to the end of this coffee chat. And I'd like to thank every one of you for being here today. Thank you so much for spending some time with us, asking your questions, being with us, interacting with us, giving us feedback about how we're doing, liking us, subscribing to us. We're just really grateful for you all. And a big thank you to Alex for joining us today and for helping us answer all these questions, and not being the person who's like, yeah, saying yes to everything, and giving really his insights into some of the things that he's actually worked on for his clients as well. So asante sana, Alex, for being here today. Really appreciate it.
Anytime, and thank you for participants. Those were great questions. Love the interaction. Thanks for the hosts, Eunice and Rima, and the team that's also been giving feedback, answering questions. Great insights. We love them. Looking forward to seeing you one day again soon.
Thank you. Thanks, Alex. So thanks, everybody. And, please, feel free to reach out to us at any time that you want. You can email to us, you can find us on social media, you can inbox us, but just reach out to us and, let's see if we can actually help you out with your strategies. So thanks very much, guys, and have a lovely afternoon. Thanks for joining us.